Hey guys, Ed from the Edamus here. What's going on? So, my last video seemed to be pretty popular with the introduction to Japanese textbooks, guide to learning Japanese for beginners. Now, this video is going to be kind of the opposite. This video is how to learn Japanese for free. You don't have to buy any books. You don't have to buy anything, theoretically, but you can learn for free. Now, how would you do that? Of course, with the internet. The power of the internet, you can do anything, right? With your own determination and all that jazz. So, there are kind of two schools of thought with learning Japanese. The two schools are the textbook way and then the non-textbook way, like the, or I should say not the textbook way, but like the school class way and then the non-school class way. And I'm going to talk about those differences now. With the, not the differences per se, but the one without the classroom. So the previous video, obviously, classrooms, textbooks, that type of learning. This one, this methodology is just called like immersion. You immerse yourself in the Japanese and you can learn that way. So what I'm talking about specifically is All Japanese All the Time, or alljapaneseallthetime.com, AJATT. Now, a lot of people have talked to me about this. The first person who introduced it to me, I didn't like very much because he sounded arrogant with it. Like, to say that the learning in the classroom is just balls. It's like, sucks. There's no way you can learn that. And I emphatically disagree because people do learn that way. But people are different. So maybe this guy didn't learn that way because I can't use all Japanese all the time. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. At least not to learn the beginning stuff. I mean, I didn't. I just couldn't do it. I tried many years ago, but I couldn't do it. Anyway, so it depends on the person. Some people need that motivation, that outside person pushing them in the classroom to get to a certain point. Others don't. So anyway, alljapaneseallthetime.com is basically, their slogan is, you don't learn a language, you get used to it. Which is kind of true. When we learned English, if English is your first language, you didn't understand the conversation of adults when you were young. You were like, whoa, what are they saying? But as you slowly became accustomed to it after years and years and years and years and years of hearing it, you know, you can understand what they're talking about. Same goes with the language that you are learning when you're older, is you get used to it as time goes. That's the idea behind it. Now, of course, I'm of the opinion that you do need some grammar, you do need some structure, and the way to get that for me was through books and through classes, to be told it. I have a hard time in general hearing and being able to like fully put it into something. I need to read. So for example, I think I used it before, I read a word and I didn't know exactly how to say it, but I knew how to use it, I knew the meaning, but when I heard it, then it made that full connection. Same goes with me with Japanese. When I read it in the textbook, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now I know what that's talking about. And then when I hear it, I'm like, boom, got it. So yeah, another one is called JALUP, or Japanese Level Up. Same kind of idea. You kind of do it through immersion and your self-study. All of this is self-study. I did the it's not like a test, but it's like a reading test to see what level you are in. And I'm around a 45 to a 50 through what I've been doing. The one that was taught, there's a couple of examples that are from famous movies or like Wikipedia or something like that. And I have trouble with them, but like it's kind of funny. I have trouble with normal conversation, like in a screenplay, but when you give me a technical thing, I'm like, oh, I got it. So, whatever. Another one is another resource for learning Japanese for free. At least I think it's free. It's an app, or on the computer. It's definitely free. Is Tai Kim's Grammar Guide, or guide. Was it JapaneseGrammarGuide.org or something like that? Anyway, if you Google Tai Kim, Taekim, then you can find his thing. He's got an app, and it's actually really good. It's a really good resource for starting out to learn. And there's some advanced stuff in there, so I find myself looking back at it just to be like, oh, that's what an intransitive verb of that means. So, yeah. Another resource is Tofugu. They post a lot of interesting news and things like that, like, oh, we're Japan, things like that, but they also have some good resources on there. So that is, yeah. So if you want to learn Japanese for free, it's definitely possible. Or without textbooks, it's definitely possible. All Japanese all the time. The whole premise, like I said, is you get used to the language. So you're listening to it, you're reading it, you're trying to, you know, listen to it natively, you know. You're just basically trying to get used to the language through interaction with the language rather than trying to do it through a textbook. You know, what way is best is definitely up to you, the person trying to learn the language. Like I said, I needed that outside motivator to guide me along. There's a certain point, obviously, where everyone, they reach and then they don't need that outside help. They just can do it themselves. And where I am now in terms of my school, I'm definitely at the point where I can still get stuff from my teachers, of course, but from the class material itself, I'm a little bit above. Because I'm done with all the classes that there really are anyway. Yeah, so that is my review of, you know, the opposite of textbooks. The Learn Japanese for Free. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know how you learn Japanese. I'm not going to judge you negatively for however you did it, as long as it works for you. I know a lot of people are worried about, not worried, but a lot of people are used to getting negative opinions when they share their ideas on how to learn the language. For example, a person who on one of my channels commented about all Japanese all the time, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of it, and you know, I'm not going to be negative like, fuck that shit doesn't work. It works if it works for you, then it works, right? But it doesn't work necessarily for me or for that guy or for whomever. So, you know, I'm here. This channel, the purpose of this channel is to spread teaching methodologies, teaching methods, and that's what I want to do. More so than that, of course, talk about Japan. It is a J-vlogging channel, but how to study Japanese. And there's never one way. There's no one way. So, yeah. I think that about covers it for this video, guys. Definitely check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and remember geekconfetti.com, my webcomic. So it's been going great. People have been reading it. It's funny. Woo! Party on, guys.